Hello again. It's Mike Sorensen here. Just here with some encouragements for our communities at Grace leaders and other people involved in small groups. Just a little bit about just what it means to do community and help you at getting back to some of the basic things to think about, pray about with regards to your communities as you get into a crazy disruptive time right now. And who knows where this is going, how long a lot of the craziness will last right now. But I want to just continue talking about it because this is a good time to step back, look at your group, look at your community involvement, look at the connection you have with other people and say, what are we doing? What are we missing? Are there things that we could be kind of adding to our community, things we could do better or ways we could connect that would help? And so I want to give you some things to think about. So today, one of the things that I hear a lot, on the one end, you have people who will say our small groups are really full. We can't afford any new people. We talked about the importance of, still inviting people and still trying to go even when that's growing. Sometimes that's a leadership development issue or whatever. But on the other side, one of the common things I'll hear is, small groups will also be short on people. And I'll say, oh, yeah, we had a family that moved away, their job took them away. We had these people that have a lot going on in their personal life right now, so they are not here very often. And, sometimes you have a few of those and all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's just, two people and when we meet, but we're really struggling to have enough people to really feel like a small group to challenge each other. And so how do we meet those people? How do we find new people for our group? And so I like to encourage people, I think, the power of personal invitation and building personal relationships naturally. Because I think to try and randomly, assign people, I always, when we get new people at the church or somebody expresses an interest, I always try to connect them to a small group that I think they would fit with. And so we do have a percentage of those. But oftentimes it's the personal relationships that honestly draw people to a small group. And so it's really the work as you guys are growing in your group to say, part of our work is to go out there and be intentional about meeting people and building relationships. And so, a little example here, it's a thing you could easily go right by in the book of Acts when you go through some of these relationships and how Paul meets people, builds relationships that end up becoming very pivotal for work that he does. So, coming in Acts 18 and to lead up to that, Paul has, on his second missionary journey, he's gone through and wanted to go into Asia. And all we know is that for some reason, somehow the Holy Spirit would not allow him into Asia. And so that would have been, where Ephesus and some of those churches were down along the Mediterranean Sea, that he really wanted to get into some of those areas and he wasn't able to. God would not let him go there. And he gets called in a vision to Macedonia and goes through basically, Greece and going down through some of these different cities. He faces a lot of persecution. He's now very much in Gentile territory. And some people rebel against him. He's put in jail. He gets beaten, chased out, and he goes through a few different cities is trying to escape that. And he ends up in Corinth in chapter 18 of Acts. And so as Paul is getting there, I'm sure he is weak and tired and probably discouraged, who knows. But he comes out from Athens and preaching in Athens, his sermon, a famous sermon there. But he comes out after all of this persecution. He comes to Corinth. Well, how does he meet people? So he's been coming to it. And these first few verses we see in chapter 18, verse 1. After these things, he left Athens. He went to Corinth, and he found a Jew named Aquila, a native of Pontus, having recently come from Italy with his wife Priscilla. Because Claudius had commanded all the Jews to leave Rome, he came to them. And because he was of the same trade, he stayed with them, and they were working, for by trade they were tent makers. So here you go. You might zip right on by that and not really notice, but Priscilla and Aquila became very key for him later. And there's a reason Luke kind of drops that into that narrative, like, hey, these people are critical people later. Here's where he met them, right? They met because they both happened to end up as transplants into Corinth. Neither of them were from that area because Priscilla and Aquila were from Pontus, which was kind of up near the Black Sea. That was kind of the northern part of Asia. So they were from back there, and Paul, obviously being from Jerusalem, Priscilla and Aquila had been in Rome and then kicked out because Jews were kicked out, and so both of them kind of ended up in this place in Corinth that neither of them were from. So they had that in common, but also the little thing it says because he was of the same trade. So Paul, when he came to Corinth, is looking for a way to make some money. He's looking for a way to just kind of survive there. He finds a local person who has the same trade to kind of help him in tent making and stuff. So they had a similar skill, they had a similar background, and they built a friendship. Now, Priscilla and Aquila, what we find out later is they become the key people in Ephesus, which is the first place when he goes back into Asia. God didn't let him in before, but God lets him come in and stop in Ephesus briefly. And really, it's Priscilla and Aquila who really take care of that ministry and build it in Ephesus. It's not Paul. Paul is there briefly. He preaches, but he leaves. And it's really Priscilla and Aquila that do the work of building that ministry in Ephesus. And they also train Apollos, who comes back and does ministry in Corinth. They become very pivotal leaders and strong church leaders that Paul trained. And he met them because they shared the same trade. And he's coming because he's trying to escape persecution when he gets to Corinth. He didn't have a big ministry plan there. He just went being faithful to where God sent him. He goes trying to work and find a way to survive there. And as he's doing that, he's also paying attention to certain people who would share the same trade, people who have a similar mindset as him. And so I love just seeing Paul having both of those things in mind while he's going and while he's working. So for you guys, following that same model, while you're working, while you're going, as you're involved in activities, looking for those that you meet. So it might be people that you meet on a Sunday morning that you see. You notice that person sitting by themselves, or you notice a new family that's around the same age as you, and like, I haven't seen them before. I think they may be new. Go meet them and be intentional about building a relationship with them. But it might be someone totally outside of Sunday morning. It might be somebody that you meet at work that you just know is, hey, his family really could use some community, and I'm going to invite them to come to our small group. It might be somebody whose kids share an activity with yours that, you're doing gymnastics with your kids, and there's this other family. Our kids seem to hang out quite a bit, and so I've been having a lot of conversations with them. I find out, hey, we share some things in common. I might invite those people, whether they're believers or unbelievers, whether they're churched or unchurched, whatever their situation, it can be a good opportunity to invite those people in. But build those relationships naturally long term. Be intentional wherever you're going, whatever things you do on a regular basis, that you meet people, that you get to know them personally, that you get to know the things that they're into, and you find people that you have things in common with, and you invite those people into your relationships. And you don't just have to invite them to a big church service on Sunday morning. Invite them into your home. It's a very welcoming thing to do. So if you're looking for new people, I would say start by looking at where you're already at anyway. Pay attention on Sunday morning and say, I'm here to worship, but I'm also looking around, seeing if there's anybody that looks new or looks like they've not been here before. I'd like to meet them, get to know those people, build a friendship. If I'm at work, I'm thinking about who is it here that I know, that I've gotten to know and built a friendship with, that maybe they need community. Who shares an activity with my kids that I get to know, or whatever it is. So wherever you are, have in mind that there's this part. I'm always intentionally building friendships and relationships and looking for who God might want to call into sharing the community that I have. So whoever that is, invite them in. So that's my encouragement today. Just look around. If you're needing new people and saying, hey, I want to build out that community, invite somebody new in. They might already be right in your area already. They might be working right next to you every day. So look around, pray, and ask God to show you who those people might be. I hope that's an encouragement to you. Again, as always, if there's anything I can help you with in this process, questions I can answer, or you want to, have coffee or have lunch to just talk about it, give me a call, give me an email, let me know. I would love to help you figure these things out. All right. Have a great week. Bye-bye.